Assignment number 2. Case study of 12-year-old male. Tan is a 12-year-old male who is in grade 6 at Lloyd Street Primary School. Tan's first language is English, although he also speaks Cantonese. His parents are Chinese migrants who came to Australia 19 years ago. They are middle class and his mother does not work. His father is a city planner. Tan is healthy and active. His favorite activities include karate, hip-hop dance classes, tennis and playing video games. He also has access to a computer which he uses with his father. Many of the computer games they play are educational, while many of the video games he plays on the PlayStation 2, PS2 are not of an educational nature. Because these games are of an arcade nature, involving shooting and hand-eye coordination games, they have little education value. This report's author has compiled a case study investigating Tan. The case study report will include information from a series of observations and discussions, if appropriate depending on age, which build an understanding of the child. Tan was observed to use the computer more than the PS2. He said in a series of discussions about electronic media he likes to play that he prefers to play the PS2 to relax, but the personal computer, PC, taught him more. This was because the games he played on the PS2 were quite different from the PC. For example, he said that his favorite game on the PS2 was Spider-Man, which is an action, 3D animated game where the objective was to combat opponents in an interactive environment. Meanwhile, Tan's favorite games he played with his father on the PC included Civilization 2 and SimCity. Civilization 2 is a game where cities and agriculture must be built while military units must be built and maintained. In this game, technology is investigated and countries are constructed. Overall, it is a more strategic game than the tactical and arcade-oriented PS2 Spider-Man. SimCity on the PC is also a game of city simulation where a city and its services are built and maintained by the player. Business models and social statistics are introduced and manipulated. Tan said he liked to play these games with his father on the PC as they could save and build on these games. Tan liked to play these computer games because he wants to be a city planner like his father, and these games have elements of city planning and architecture edutainment. PS2 games do not, and are merely filled with action. Nevertheless, Tan still liked to play PS2 action arcade games. He said that this was because he didn't want to learn all the time like at school, and that sometimes his father was using the computer for work, so Tan was forced to use the PS2. Tan's mother has taught Tan to touch type on the computer. He knows how to use the QWERTY system common to most Western keyboards from most PCs. He can type 50 words per minute and often types up his school assignments on the computer and saves different versions of them. He then prints them out and hands them in to his teacher. He likes to insert pictures from the internet to illustrate his assignments. Tan says he likes to do assignments and projects on the computer as it is interesting to make your own media. He likes to make videos, music and animation. Sometimes he includes this with his school work, which is quite regular from his Lloyd Street school. Tan say that he likes to use Wikipedia to do his research for primary school projects. He understands hyperlinks and likes to use them in his own computer work. Tan also likes to use MSN to communicate with his friends after school. He also knows how to use email, although he claims that this is slow compared to the instantaneous nature of MSN type communications. Tan claims that he has never sent a written letter except for some sent to a pen friend in Hong Kong as an exercise at school in grade 4. This shows the rate of technology among young people in that they even see email as slow compared with the latest technology of MSN communications. He regards written letters as from another age. Tan says he spends less time watching television, as he does playing and learning on the computer and playing on the PS2. He does not read newspapers except for school projects, and then he usually tracks them down on the computer. He only listens to the radio when his parents do. Tan says he likes to listen to pop music, and he has many CDs that his parents have bought for him as presents. He has also downloaded some music from the internet which his school friends have just taught him how to do using BitLord, a free PC computer program. Determine an area of interest or strength of the child. Using observation and discussion data as evidence, explain why you have decided to support this area of interest. 10 has exceptional learning abilities that are geared towards a 21st century environment. His father has provided him with all the skills that 10 requires to continue his learning independently. 10 knows how to use the tools that are required in today's education and economic environment, such as the computer. He supports these main interests with entertainments that are similar to this, such as electronic games. This provides a mutually supporting area of interest for the child. 10 has well-developed ambitions for his age that stem not only from an idolization of his father. He has a genuine interest in city planning that is rooted in his initial interest in extremely popular games such as the Sim series of PC computer games. It is likely that 10, as he gets older, will express interest in learning and constructing simulation games such as Second Life and World of Warcraft. 10's interest in computers and electronics stands him in good stead for his future work life or educational experiences. He is already able at this young age to prepare and duplicate digital media in both schoolwork and hobby interest areas. He has an eye for multimedia and desktop publishing of his schoolwork already. He keeps a portfolio of his work for future reference on the advice of his father. He often looks over this work on his computer to find ideas and to reference past material in new school projects. This archiving is a great achievement for such a young person. Plan and provide a learning experience for the child that would be an appropriate next step for promoting the child's learning in relation to this area of strength or interest. A learning experience that could be planned for the child could be to ask the child to construct a city using SimCity with certain limitations to build within, say, default settings in the game that give set amounts of cash for the player to build within the game. Another option is to ask the child to design the city that he lives in on SimCity. This would have an orientating effect on the child and also teach the child the cartography of the city they must live in. This could have positive effects in preventing the child from becoming lost at some point in the future, since 10 will have plotted out the streets of his city, Melbourne. Other computer users of all ages all over the world enjoy looking at people's contributions to SimCity, whatever the contributor's age. In this way, 10's learning effort can be uploaded to several sites on the internet to show off his educational experience to friends and strangers. 10 could print out his map and attempt to navigate to the General Post Office of Melbourne using the SimCity map he has generated. Doing this, he could see how accurate he was in building his computerized and simulated city map on SimCity. 10 could be instructed to further turn his hard copy of his map of Melbourne built with SimCity into a board game, since he likes to play PC games like Civilization 2 and they have their basis in older board games like Monopoly. He could be instructed to stick down the paper print hard copy of the city he generated on a card and plot a segmented path through it like most board games, positions or spaces for players to move along. 10 could be instructed to include obstacles and problems common to the city that the players could encounter on his city board game. The game would be measured as better with the more realism that 10 puts into it. 10 could complete this learning task by making up rules for his simple board game about Melbourne and successfully teach the game to a friend so they can play. If a game of the board game is successfully conducted by 10 and his friend, then the entire learning experience has been accomplished.